Planning Commission meeting of June 25th. Roll call.
Tom Iagnemma, not present. Doug Kaine.
Here.
Joseph Johnson.
Here.
Jamey Noland.
Here.
Danny Cerrone, not present. And also Jason Paulovich.
Here.
And Chris Seymour.
Pledge of Allegiance. Approval of the minutes. Are there any comments on the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the June 4th, 2026 Planning Commission meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have no old business. New business item A, review and discuss S04 2025 Weinman Consolidation Plan.
2026.
S04 2026, yes. Preliminary and final minor subdivision, 5088 Tom's Run Road, zoned R2.
Thanks, Joe. I'll take it from there. We did review this application. We provided a review letter dated May the 11th. The application is for consolidation of two parcels, which are parcel number 258D25, 258D26, which are approximately 0.1861 acres for the first parcel and 0.1733 acres for the second, for a total of 0.359 acres. This is the portion of Tom's Run Road that we recently did the township line correction with Collier in that vicinity, but that action had no bearing on this application, but it is in that vicinity. It's a very minor action to simply consolidate these two. The comments that we had were very minor in nature. I mean, they were just to facilitate the recording. Nothing noteworthy. We have not gotten a revised submission or response to comments at this point in time, but we're comfortable with the nature of these comments that, assuming they get them corrected prior to the board meeting, and provide a revised plan or response to comments that, the application should be approved at that point.
When did you send comments to them?
Our letter is dated May the 11th, 2026, and usually they go the same day. I would imagine this did.
So they've had like 6 weeks or 5.5 weeks to...
They've definitely had enough time to respond, especially given that these weren't, very much to address. But I don't believe that the applicant or the consultant is here, obviously, to speak on this.
Is that any concern for approval?
It'd be nice if someone could speak to it and acknowledge the comments in the letter, but again, my recommendation would be if they do not respond prior to if you would want to recommend this for approval just based on our letter, and the county did provide a letter as well, they had no comments. Assuming they addressed things adequately prior to the board meeting agenda posting, then we would provide a letter, stating that for the board. If they don't, then we would provide documentation to the board to table it at that point until they do.
Okay.
Go motion to approve S04 2026 Weinman Consolidation Plan, subject to the applicant's satisfactory completion of the Gibson-Thomas review letter dated May 11th, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That closes out new business. Acceptance of applications. We do not have any applications, so we'll move into open discussion.
Yeah, good evening. John Barrett, Township Manager. Want to speak to you guys this evening about a proposed ordinance that the township's considering. What I'll do tonight is review it with you, go over some of the components, review timeline, and then let you ask any questions that you might have. The ordinance in front of you accomplishes two things: that there's a rezoning involving two different parcels, and there's also an amendment to the zoning ordinance. I'll talk about the rezoning issues first, and that's because that's really what started us down this path. Was our comprehensive plan and discussions we've had about economic development in the township, specifically related to areas around the Southern Beltway. If you look at the existing zoning map, the majority of the area is currently R1. And I think there was, kind of a belief the comp plan actually speaks to that. That's the Sturgeon one, Abby, not the PED one. The comp plan actually speaks to the potential of the Southern Beltway and some opportunities that might exist there. And in speaking with the board, I think there was just an overall feeling that, we don't necessarily want to see just all residential housing around the Beltway. So the comp plan actually talked about a targeted growth area and wanted us to think about potentially creating, maybe an overlay district or expanding the PED. We actually, when we reviewed our ordinance, we thought the PED made the most sense as it's pre-existing. It offers the most flexibility. While it does allow for some housing, it has to be part of a larger plan that is mixed use, allows for a variety of uses. And I think the reality is when you start actually going boots on the ground around that area, a lot of the parcels that are zoned R1 don't have real good access to the Beltway, to the highway. And we thought that was important. We wouldn't necessarily want to rezone properties, say, further down the Beltway along Cecil Rising that have a really bad connection to the Southern Beltway and encourage, kind of a large campus-style development like PED would. So our analysis led us to really focus on the parcel that's highlighted in blue. This is not currently zoned PED. It's shown here as being proposed to enter into the PED district. It's currently R1. This is commonly referred to as the paintball parcel, 24 and change acres, really good access to the Southern Beltway. And our thinking is to kind of start this implementation of the comp plan or rezoning effort with this parcel. And then, maybe as utilities are brought and more development occurs, we might consider expanding PED even further. But we think for the time being, this makes the most sense. So we're proposing the 24-acre parcel that you see before you being rezoned from R1 to PED. Any questions on that before I jump into the other rezoning?
Is there currently a prospective user?
No, nothing that we've been made aware of. I know the property did change hands. I know it was purchased by Burns and Scalo. We have not talked to them about what they'd like to do with that property, but kind of believe that their intent isn't to build single-family homes, and nor do we think that is the best location for homes right there.
Has there been discussion with them about this?
They're made aware of it through this process, but the comp plan and the the crafting of the ordinance, we didn't consult them, to be honest. We were working under an assumption that they were supportive of it. We have communicated this to them kind of after the fact, and it is something they would support. But yet, as of now, there's no imminent plan or anything on the horizon that we can speak to. And then the second rezoning, Abby, if you don't mind pulling that up, this is in the Sturgeon neighborhood. We're seeing this more as a correction. Obviously, Sturgeon neighborhood is an older community, built out community for the most part. The area highlighted in red is actually currently C1. It's a residential neighborhood. There are single family homes all through those parcels. The exception being what you see in green, what pizza shop and maybe something else commercial that are those green highlighted areas. But all around that is residential. There are within that highlighted area maybe a handful of empty parcels. And this came to our attention from a property owner in the neighborhood that was looking to assemble those parcels to build one home. And when they approached us with it, the zoning, is C1. Didn't seem to be what it should be, being that there are existing homes all around it. So we're adding this to the proposed ordinance. We're not calling it a curative amendment, but we think we're cleaning it up to make it reflect existing conditions. Any questions there?
All those residents and adjacent property owners have been notified.
We have notifications kind of teed up, ready for these groups. They've been identified by parcel. We did submit the pending ordinance to Allegheny County for comment. Our process right now is to present this to the Planning Commission, go through some of these details, leave you with a copy of it. We'd like to put it on your July agenda and ask you for a recommendation. We have a public hearing scheduled for August where these the properties will be staked. They'll be invited to it, as well as the newspaper advertisements. And then pending, how those discussions go, the board would be able to adopt right afterwards. And then third component does not deal with the rezoning, but would be an adjustment to our zoning ordinance, Chapter 240, dealing with R1, the rural residential district, and it deals with lot width. The proposal is simple, and it's just to expand the minimum lot width from 110 feet to 125 feet. Outcome would be a larger dwelling. The board had taken action before this to eliminate the open space components of the R districts. It's still eligible in the PED, but kind of our efforts have been to kind of promote larger lots, bigger homes. So step one was the open space, and step two is expanding the lot width. So
For small homes, still have some
you could, yeah, right, yeah, right.
I'm curious, just wording wise, I did check some other places, and it seems like some of them are clarify that length isn't necessarily frontage, but it's width of the lot at the front of the house.
Yeah.
I don't know that it makes it. They commented on like cul-de-sacs in particular, and how, if it were frontage along right of way, that would really impact like a cul-de-sac unit, as opposed to say in 125 feet at whatever the front of the building is. And I didn't see that being clarified one way or the other here.
Well, maybe the question will be for you, Jason. You would be the one that would review this. Right now, when it comes to lot width, how are you interpreting that, or how do you review it?
Quite frankly, I mean, there is a little bit of conflict in not only our ordinances, but all ordinances with respect to this, because as you mentioned with that example, Joe, the cul-de-sacs, typically a cul-de-sac, you might only have 6 of opening or something along those lines. And then at the building line, which is where it's typically representative of this, is where it's enforced at the building line, the front building line. I think our ordinance does leave it open for interpretation a little bit, because it doesn't exactly say lot width is defined as the lot width at the front building line. It just says, at the frontage of the road or whatnot. But, I think this is in line with the ordinance you currently have, and I think this achieves what you're looking for to, slightly limit yield on an R1 development by requiring, a modestly increased lot size as building.
Yeah, those three things are what this ordinance attempts to modify. We gave you copies of it. We gave you a red line copy of the ordinance too, so you could kind of see where language was added or deleted.
Yeah, thank you for
and
that.
then come back next week and see if you have questions. I'm not sure if we'll have the review from the county. There's a good chance because I think their 45 days is right around meeting date time. So if we have that, we'll share it with you. And then public hearing in August before the board meeting. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any public discussion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.